Hey everybody, today I want to tell you a story about faith. This faith is about Jesus, of course, and it's a story of three siblings. Now, let's get started in this story about Mary, Martha, Lazarus, and Jesus. Okay everybody, so let's start this story off. This is actually something I was reading about in my own personal study time today. Just for the sake of it, we're not going to start directly at the beginning, but we're going to start a little ways through in this story. And this story actually that we're going to start today starts in John chapter 11. And this is where Jesus is actually told about Lazarus' death. Of course, we know that Lazarus is the brother of both Mary and Martha. Now, earlier in the Bible, to be exact, it would be Luke chapter 7, especially around verse 38, we learn about Mary actually being at the feet of Jesus. Mary actually loved Jesus so much, she was so sorrowful for her sin, that she wept on Jesus' feet. She cleaned his feet. She cleansed him. She showed honor to him. She showed love to him. She used her tears to clean and honor Jesus, cleaning his feet. And then she used her hair, not just a cloth, but her hair, to wipe Jesus' feet down. She took something that a woman would consider special or important to them, her own hair, to honor Jesus. Jesus told her later, well, just right afterwards, that her faith and love in him had healed her of her sin, that she was forgiven. She could go in peace. Now, this was in the house of Simon, and Jesus actually pointed out, Simon, you've had me here this whole time, and you haven't shown me faith like Mary has at all. All the while, this is while the Pharisees were saying, Jesus, you're truly not a prophet, because if you were, you wouldn't let this woman, probably a prostitute, is I think what the text is keying into, do this to you. So, knowing that's who Mary is, and that Martha is her sister, we'll move on back to John chapter 11. Of course, we hear that Lazarus is ill. And Jesus told them, don't be frightened, don't be fretted by this, because this illness is for the glory of God. It's to show glory to Jesus, give glory to Jesus, that glory can be given to God. He tells them that this illness will not end in death. Now, this is kind of a story that a lot of us can relate to. Well, we all want God to work in our time. We want things to go well the way we want them to, not in some other way, right? So guys, Jesus waited a few days. He heard of this illness. He was going to go to Lazarus, but he waited a few days. Guys, we've got to remember, God works in his own time. We don't know his ways. We don't know his will. But if Jesus tells you that everything's going to be fine, your brother will not end in death, at least in this way. We need to trust in that. Now, so after a few days, Jesus actually came to Mary and Martha's home city, and Lazarus had just died. Their home is filled with people in grief over Lazarus. It looks like the end. When Mary and Martha are told that Jesus is in the city, Martha jumps up and runs to where she has heard that Jesus is. Mary, on the other hand, sits and stays in the house. She's grief-stricken. We've all been there before. We've all in our grief wondered, Has God forsaken us? Is Jesus not the Christ? Can we not count on his promises? He said that Lazarus was going to be okay. He's dead. Martha goes to Jesus, runs to him and she says, Lord, if you had been here, I know that Lazarus would not have died. But Lord, I know that anything that you ask, no matter the circumstance, can come true. She knows that Jesus has the power to bring back Lazarus. In her mind, it's not over. At this same time, while Mary's weeping in her house, she jumps up, she runs to her brother's tomb. So after Mary had ran to the tomb to see her brother, and all the grievers were with her, everybody mourning with her, Jesus came with Martha. So Martha, Mary, Jesus, and all the people mourning were there. And Mary fell to Jesus' feet. She knows that he's Lord, but she's thinking, why? Why did you let this happen? Jesus, wow, guys. Mary actually said, Lord, if you had been here, my brother Lazarus would not have died. Seeing her crying, seeing her weep, moved Jesus so much he was troubled in his soul. It moved him so much that he began to weep. He began to cry. He was sorry. He was full of sorrow for Mary and Martha and the pain that they were feeling. While he was weeping, all the Jews around saw and marveled, just amazed. This Jesus loves them so much. Look, he's crying for them. He's weeping for Mary and Martha. But then Jesus said, move the stone. And Mary said, but Lord, it's been 4 days since Lazarus is passing. There will be an odor. Now essentially Jesus just says, it doesn't matter. Just believe in me. Have faith. And Lazarus will rise again. And then all Jesus had to do was speak, Lazarus, come out. And he did. Lazarus came back. He was living once again. It says he was resurrected. He wasn't just sleeping. He was brought back from the dead, living in flesh exactly right in front of them for all to see. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, this is a story of faith. Mary and Martha had faith in Jesus. Now granted, Mary may not have had the best faith, the strongest faith, but what a great story this is. She may not have passed just as well as Martha did, having faith in him. But this is something that we all do, that we can all relate to. Sometimes we wonder, Jesus, do you really love us? And Jesus shows us again and again, in this example, in spectacular ways, that he is the Christ. He is the Son of God. He can heal from sins. He can bring what has been taken from us back. That being our righteousness. He brings our righteousness back to us. Brothers and sisters, look to Jesus. Even when it's hard to have faith, faith in him is a reward for us. It's what we need. Have faith in Jesus.